is Nathan Hatchie. I wrote a few books and welcome to your Come Up channel. If you like what you watch, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe and the bell notification so you don't miss your Come Up. Now let's get into the conversation. Morning, James, man. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing good. I just got out of the shower, just finished my morning cardio. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fresh. How about you?
Feeling good too, man. I had my coffee. Not so much morning cardio, but I did like a little 15-minute warm up with some high knees and push-ups and
Yeah.
and
Are you doing
sit-ups.
the YouTube like workouts?
No, I have an app on my phone. It's I'm looking it up real quick. It's called Home Workouts because the gyms
Home
out here are
workout.
still closed. And
Right. Yeah.
well, James, for those that don't know you, I mean, you narrated my audiobooks. And the funny thing is, when I was starting to choose or commission voices for my books, I chose one person. I'm like, okay, this guy sounds good. Then I forgot that I had my books on Audition in Amazon or ACX. And then when I heard your voice, I'm like, bro, no, you got to go. I
Really?
found my guy.
Really? Oh, I did not know that.
No, but the
So
funny
fun.
part was he was like, I already started, or I was looking forward to getting started on your work. I'm like, look, here's what I'll do. I'll pay you half just as a good gesture.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was only like 40, $50. So in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a huge deal to not burn a bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it was just like when I heard your voice, I'm like, this is it. This is my dude right here.
Wow.
But
I didn't know that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
no
That means a
problem.
lot.
And now 3 books into it, we got a fourth one that I got to commission
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, we got a
But
dynasty going.
But for those that don't know who you are, I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself that I haven't said already.
Okay, my name is James Olivas. I am a recent UCLA grad. I studied theater there, and obviously, of course, right now I'm living at home because of the pandemic and whatnot. But prior to that, I was working at Disney in the Coco show, musical celebration of Coco. I was about to start a couple other shows before the pandemic happened. I was also doing theater kind of around LA, around California. I had just gotten back from a show in Santa Barbara. I was in the middle of working on a show in Thousand Oaks when everything got canceled. And then I was slated to go to New York to do work and then San Diego afterwards. So my whole year was just set to be all theater stuff all over the nation.
Oh man. So how have you had to adjust with 2020 kind of hit a lot of folks in the face, you know what I mean? So how'd you have to
Yeah.
adjust?
Well, okay. So, I mean, I came home and I basically have just spent a lot of time at the beginning. I think I was working on my music a lot, like really trying to keep keep my muscle warm, keep like singing all the time, so that I didn't fall out of practice. And then I still felt kind of listless a little bit until I had a friend tell me that she had booked or she was able to do this audiobook on this site called ACX. And I was like, wow, you can just sign up and read books? And she's like, yeah, you can do that. So I went on there, I started auditioning, and that has pretty much just been like my entire life since I've been on the site. And then in that time, since I started the audiobook, I've started doing a lot of voiceover stuff as well, and gotten a voiceover agency. So I've been doing a lot of auditions for that, the occasional film TV ones. Definitely no theater ones right now, but yeah, so it's pretty much just been lots of recording all day. I'm almost afraid to sing because I don't want to use my voice. I don't want to tire it out in the
Oh
days.
man,
So that I can have the chance to record.
that's awesome, man. So what would we say your passion is? Is your passion voice recording? Is it theater? Is it acting? You kind of like it's awesome that you're juggling these things, but you're adapting given the economic stature that we're all going through right now, you know?
Before the pandemic, I think I would have told you that my passion was for sure theater. And then around the time right before, I might have said even film or TV. But now because of the pandemic and because of the stuff that I've gotten to do, I kind of want to say, I don't know how like my professors would feel about this, but I kind of want to say that voice acting is really kind of taking over like a special place in my mind of what I'm really passionate about. So, I mean, if I could have a career doing voice acting things, that would be amazing. I think I'd be very, very happy with that.
I think you'll do very, very well with that. I mean, when I heard your voice when you read a sample chapter in my book,
Mhm.
Additional Ways to Earn More, it's one of those things. Like, have you ever felt as certain as something, like as certain as death and tax? Like, you just felt like, nope, it's a wrap. Like, this is where I'm going, and you
Yeah,
can't explain the feeling in a tangible aspect, but you just know, yeah, this is where I'm going. No questions asked.
yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was the feeling I got when I heard your voice. So I'm happy that you've gotten more coming your way. When it comes to voiceover, uh, do you sway more towards I love reading audiobooks or reading books for audio or character voice acting? I mean, if you had to pick which one.
So, I mean, audiobooks will definitely hold like a special place in my heart, because there is something very, I don't know, cathartic about putting together a whole book, and kind of just being a part of the process and helping a story come to life in a different medium. Um, but I think my focus would want to be more on like character acting, or just more general voice acting stuff, like more in snippets, because audiobook does wear you down after a bit. I mean, you're in the studio for an hour, 2 hours recording, and then you can only record so much in a day before your voice starts sounding like trash. But it's plenty of time to take a break and edit, and review and edit again. So it's an interesting process, and it works. And I've been able to set up a pretty efficient system, that I can work with for audiobooks. But I still think that kind of just the more snippets of voiceover work is really my bread and butter.
Okay, awesome, man. Do you see like a trend with audio or voiceover? I mean, for example, 5 years ago, I don't think audiobooks are as popular as they are now compared to then. And I believe, my opinion, we're just going to see more of an upward trend towards audiobooks where physical books, that's the best of meat and potatoes of it all, where I think audiobooks are more like the hors d'oeuvre or the dessert. But as people buy more Alexa or smart speakers, and we're obviously in a digital world, and we're juggling things here and there. For me, I prefer audiobooks because the convenience. I could just pop it in the car while I'm taking the kids to daycare or picking them up from daycare. But in your opinion, where do you see audiobooks going since you're in that field?
In my opinion, I definitely think that audiobooks are going to just continue to rise in popularity. I mean, yeah, like you said, we've seen over the past 5 years that they've already become so much more successful. I mean, I think it's the same way that we see things on Facebook or YouTube where videos have gone from 20 minutes long that now they got to catch your attention for 3 minutes. And so it's kind of just the nature of media kind of adapting to society and how we view and take in entertainment or literature in this case.
Right.
So not a lot of people want to sit down and read a book anymore, or have the time to, because we're in a world where we have such immediate gratification with so many things that kind of it is much easier for a lot of people, like you said, to pop in an audiobook in the car, especially here in LA, where a lot of the commutes could be just an hour, and that's a regular commute. And so, I mean, a lot of my commutes just going to and from work, because I was driving to Anaheim, I would spend at least 45 minutes in the car with like no traffic just to get there on one way. So it's really, it really is convenient. People like to be able to multitask, especially people are finding, I think, audiobooks really add another element to the story. They get to hear stories come to life in ways that maybe they hadn't had that opportunity to before.
What's an aspect of you that a lot of people don't know about?
That's a good question. An aspect that not a lot.
I know I didn't prep you for that or give you a little more like, hey, I'm gonna ask you this. It was just like, you know what, it hit me with it. I'm asking it now. So here we go.
See, an aspect that not a lot of people know about. I mean, from the less professional sense, I'm a huge like superhero nerd. I've grown up loving like comic books and loving all things Marvel and DC. So I don't know. I don't get the opportunity to talk about that much, but that is something that I'm always very, very passionate about. So well, yeah.
Batman's my favorite superhero.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's awesome.
Then Spider-Man, then Superman, then I didn't really know much about Black Panther until when it came out with Marvel.
Right.
And that's another thing too. All right. So what's a regret that you have in your life, and if you could go back in time, what would you change about it?
Hmm, a regret. You know, I regret that when I was younger, I didn't surf more, because now that I'm older, I really want to be able to surf, and I'm trying to get back into it now during the pandemic. Um, but I'm struggling a little bit. I'm
And you live in a
I'm
perfect
pretty.
city for surfing
I
too.
know, I know. But I'm pretty long for the boards that we have right now. I mean, I'm almost like, we have our longest board is like 7 feet, and I'm 6'4", so there's not really much room to move around on it.
What's the toughest challenge you had to deal with, and how did you come up from that?
The toughest challenge I had to deal with, I think, was definitely kind of figuring out what I wanted to do as a career, because I didn't grow up in any kind of performing aspect. I definitely grew up doing more STEM field things. So I was taking all the AP classes, AP Calc, AP Physics, AP Bio, like prepping for a career in engineering, actually. I'm hoping to follow in my father's footsteps. And it really came to the point of about senior year of high school, where, I mean, I applied to all these schools for engineering, and then I applied to UCLA for theater, because I had started theater 2 years prior, and I knew that my grades weren't competitive enough for UCLA for engineering. So I thought, I'm going to go out on a limb and just maybe audition for theater and see if I can't get in, and then just switch out into engineering.
Right.
And so UCLA was the only place I applied to for performing, and I ended up getting in. And then my sorry, the plan still was to switch out in that first quarter when I arrived at UCLA.
Right.
But after the first quarter, I kind of something changed, and it was this process that had been happening for over a year that I'd really been like struggling with, and it had been very emotional for me, kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to be, like what I wanted to do with my life. Did I want to pursue something that was reliable, something that I knew was going to bring in a paycheck, something that I knew that I could do for the rest of my life, or what would I regret it for my whole life if I didn't pursue performing? What I always wonder what could have been if I did indeed like follow like my dreams. So as cheesy as that sounds, that's what I did, and I ended up sticking with it, and now here I am on the other side of it 5 years later, and yeah, I'm very glad I made that choice. I'm very happy I went with it.
There you go. No, I mean, we all have our innate gifts and talents that we're born with. I mean, no one's born the same. And as you read in my book, when you narrated the come up, I did not know that. That's one thing you and I had in common. My dad was an engineer. Your dad's an engineer. I tried it, and shortly after that, I did not have to pray for confirmation. I just knew this is not me. Heck no. And at that point, I didn't even really know writing was it, until Kind of Funny, Entourage was a show that got me going on it. So
That's right.
It's funny how we get influences or a certain event in our life can just be our turning point that leads us into that path. And well, it's never easy, but what keeps us going is it's stuff we love to do or that we enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, what else do you have is there anything else in your pipeline or any future projects that you want to discuss about?
Well, I mean, once Disney opens back up again, I don't think right away, because I'm not sure how they're going to lay out the entertainment sector of that.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of weird seeing it through a face mask, because it's
Yeah,
hard enough ordering
yeah.
a Chipotle burrito through a face mask and a plexiglass right there.
Mm-hmm.
I said
Exactly.
fajita, not beans. All right, so
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping to get right back to work once the pandemic starts up again. But for now, I'm just going to be putting out audiobooks. You may hear me in, fingers crossed, in a commercial or two for voiceover, kind of at some point in this, maybe a video game. That'd be amazing too. But for right now, it's just audiobooks, like whatever I'm working on.
okay. Is there any aspirations you like to dabble into or that you're working on dabbling into? I mean, audiobooks is something that you shifted. I think acting, I don't know if that sounds to me that was your first love, theater and acting.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other thing like, once I get these two down or these down, I would like to venture into this deal?
I've always been, even since before I was performing, I've always been pretty musical. and even tried my hand at some film composing. So, you know, somewhere down the line, I think it would be very, very cool to be able to actually, you know, continue working on film composing. I feel like I have a decent knack for it and how it works, and so that is like a kind of hidden passion of mine. So yeah, I think that'd be very cool.
I think so too. I mean, it's kind of funny how, you know, you master one gift and then you do another goal. Then you kind of master them both, and it's like, okay, I'll try another goal.
Exactly.
Where, a couple years ago when I just wrote books, or wrote the 3 books, and I'm like, I'm done. I mean, I write, that's all I can do, or that's all I want to do. Then and I'm like, okay, well, how I'm going to reach out to my people or to people that want to know about it. So I'll start a newsletter. And then that was a slow growth in April of this year. And then every newsletter I wrote, a couple more came in and a couple more came in. So it grew from 2 subscribers in April to over 650 now. And a couple here, a couple there are added throughout the day or every day. And then now it's like, okay, now after messing around with TikTok, and that's when all the millennials started getting onto TikTok, because all the Gen Zers are like, you know, this is our thing until you guys messed it up. I'm like, no, we did. We just added to it. So that taught me basics of video editing, and I have a whole new respect for video editors and directors. Because the funny analogy I think of is with an actor, in your case, they film a movie, they're done. A director's like, oh no, now we got to mash it up, cut it up, score, and we're spending another 7, 8, 9 months on it. And then now I got a deadline by the studio who wants to release it, and come on now, you know? So you're messing with my creative juices here. So I have a whole new respect for that. Back on you. When you started doing audiobooks, how did you market yourself to get more exposure? And was there any tips or tricks or any advice you can give for anyone that's looking to do narration audiobooks?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that want narrators for their audiobooks. I mean, there's just a wealth of opportunities in this field, and it's largely untapped. I mean, there's so many opportunities, and it's like I know a lot of people that if they knew about this, they would be more than happy to just kind of lend a voice. I would really say kind of figure out an efficient way to record. So, I mean, I feel like for me, the recording, like the actual speaking and narrating, is the easier part, but kind of figuring out an efficient way to edit, to like check for sound issues as you go, and then be an efficient way to like maybe take notes as you go, so you know how to edit when you go back, and then reviewing the process. I mean, the whole thing can be very time consuming. Just getting like a singular hour out, it usually takes at least double the amount of time to record and edit. And like it usually takes over 2 hours to produce 1 hour of audio. So if you can figure out an efficient system to kind of cut down your time, you're definitely more likely to stick to it. And also, you're more likely to be available for more projects. So you can say, I can get this audiobook to you in 2 weeks, or I can, like, you can be working on multiple at the same time, all within like with a similar deadline, and it all kind of just works out. So my definite advice would be to figure out an efficient system and really like trim the fat on your process.
That's amazing you said that, because with audiobooks, I noticed you could get paid flat rate or per recorded audio, right? So let's say if it's an hour-long book, then that's all you pay for is that hour. But that hour-long recording might have took you 2 hours or 2.5 hours to do, right?
Right. Yeah. It's not a direct pay per hour translation.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's just per recorded audio, right?
Yeah.
So is there also like tricks or tips that you do before you record? Do you drink water? Do you not eat certain foods before you do a recording? Like, I don't know, let's say potato chips because it's kind of salty or something like that, or is that kind of what you do, or I don't know, I'm just curious about that.
I mean, yeah, you definitely have to be conscious of the things that you eat, because one of the big things is you can't stop your stomach from making noises, whether you're hungry or it's just...
it has a mind of its own sometimes.
Yeah, or it's just rumbling. So you can't be starving when you go in. You gotta have something in your stomach. What you have in your stomach probably shouldn't be like Indian food or something. where it's going to be making noises the entire time that you're
Oh,
recording.
it's gonna be louder than the city of Mumbai,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I would so definitely the food that you eat is important. I just usually drink water straight up. I have a big old thermo flask that I just keep in the closet with me for the sessions, and I just kind of periodically make sure to wet my whistle throughout to keep the sound sounding good, and then also to know your body and know your voice and know, am I at a point now that I'm recording where it's not producing, or I'm about to stop producing good quality work because maybe I'm pushing myself too hard, and my actual instrument is getting exhausted, and maybe I need to take a break, come back later, maybe come back the next day when I'm feeling fresher. And it's also not blowing your voice out. I mean, I think we a lot of times take advantage or take our voice for granted because of the noises we make, the things we do, and really trying to conserve yourself, especially if you're in the middle of working on a book. Conserve yourself for those recording sessions, because you can get really good sounding speech if you don't spend all day just chattering away. You could really like make the most out of your time.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, and also nice like soft clothing, like a cloth, so it's not going to make a lot of noise.
Is that
And oil.
Lululemon you're wearing? You wearing Lululemon?
This is not Lululemon. This is just, actually, I don't know what this.
Don't say you're not getting paid for it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. You can say if you want to.
I have no idea. Yeah. And then oil your chair. Make sure you don't get a creaky chair, because that can be just incredibly irritated. Yeah, I went through a couple of chairs before finding one that I liked. But like definitely a soft one. Make sure you have back support, because you're going to be sitting in it for a long time.
Right.
And then no creaks.
Definitely no creaks.
If you can avoid it.
If you don't mind me asking, you're 24, 25?
Yes, I am 20. Oh my God, 23.
Okay, 23.
Yeah.
Is there something, if a 23-year-old James Olivas can go back to the 18-year-old James Olivas, what would you tell your 18-year-old James Olivas 5 years from the future?
I'd say to start to get.
And you can't warn that 18-year-old James about COVID. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say invest in Zoom.
Right? Invest in Zoom, and there was another, or probably Tesla, then get out of Tesla right before.
Yeah. Yep. No, I would say to get more focused, because I feel like I spent since I was 18, I spent the first couple years kind of trying to be able to get focused. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't really know the right way to go about pursuing it. So I would definitely sit my 18-year-old self down and really get them to realize, like, if you want this to happen, it's only up to you to make it happen. So like, it's not just going to happen on its own. So get down, put your head to the grindstone, and start working at it. Great. And so, I mean, yeah.
All right, awesome. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything else you'd like to say?
No, I mean, I just thank you so much for having me on. This has been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. I mean, this is the first time that I've gotten to see you even on a video call. So I really enjoy the opportunity.
I appreciate you coming, because I always struggled with, should I even do a YouTube channel? I mean, I'm not that camera shy. Maybe I a little bit was, and then once I did the first interview with Central Valley Talk and the podcast out here locally, it just, I'm like, what? There's only so much I can talk about without. I already said what I had to say in my books, really. But what interests me was, it's one thing to hear from my voice, but it's another thing to hear from other voices in different fields, like yourself, or people in social media, or people who run media companies, or people that do taxes, just how they came to who they are and how they've grown from that. So that, and then once I've talked to a few people about joining, or, hey, would you help me out? Some of them are willing. Some of them are a little bit of convincing. It's like, all right, come on, wait, you need like chicken and beer for a Monday Night Football game? Yeah, and I need 2 of those. And some were just as easy as a Starbucks coffee, So, no, that's what kind of got me going with the YouTube and hearing from other voices, so other people could, receive that and translate that into their lives. And No, but so back to you. Thank you again for participating. And
Of course, I think you're doing a great thing here.
oh, appreciate it, man. Thank you. That means a lot. And and you already got the fourth book to narrate. So I'm just been kind of sitting on it because it's new. I've been waiting on a couple proofreaders, a couple beta readers.
Hey, take your time. Take your time.
No, I know you're my man on this one. So if you start getting busy, or if Disney calls you from Pixar,
Yeah.
I don't expect you to say, "Wait, I gotta wait for my boy Nate."
No, I'll let them know. I'll let them know that I still got a prior commitment.
Yeah, let them know I'm number one. Pixar, you number two. I got you though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, James, I look forward to seeing more of you in the future, and I just feel like this is just the beginning of your chapter here. I don't know why, it's just a feeling. So
Thanks, man. I hope so. I hope so.
I think you're all right. I think your come up is around the corner. All right, brother. You stay blessed. Looking forward to catching up with you again.
All right. Thanks, man. You take care.
You too.